interested with the video camera system over there. Yeah, we put $10,000 on a line item to replace those with. We had the lightning strike, $7,000 damage, and insurance is gonna pay $4,500. This guy drew up a contract, the state's attorney looked at it, wants to get paid a third up front, a third halfway through it, and a third at the end. And that's what those two checks are for.
Okay.
Because part of that comes out of liability fund because it's an insurance claim. And instead of spending $10,000, we're only gonna spend like $7,000 is what we're gonna be out. Because the insurance paid part of it.
You guys have been hanging out in my neighborhood an awful lot the last few days.
We got a problem out there.
What's gonna have to happen? Is somebody gotta press charges, or what we gotta do?
Yes, several people out there, and nobody wants to.
Are they all afraid of it?
Or what's gonna happen with the equipment.
I don't know how in the world he did not roll that truck in front of me. You know about him stealing the pickup. I recognized the pickup as soon as it come around me. And I thought, somebody's in that truck that don't belong there. I mean, if he was running 10, he was running closer to 110 than he was 10.
The truck and the tractor and somebody's house, now nobody wants to buy my truck.
My stuff won't be parked over there anytime soon. Crazy. I mean, Andy come out of the old junk farmhouse the day that the truck got stolen. What recourse has somebody got? Trespassing? I mean, I don't know that he was breaking and entering or anything.
Well, they would trespass at the minimum. Criminal damage to property, criminal trespass to vehicle. We've got all kinds of charges we can charge them with,
Somebody got assigned the claim, huh? Maybe I should put I got a vehicle over there, I don't care if he tears up, maybe I'll just take it over and park it with. Huh?
They'll probably get in it.
Do something else. Is there two of them, or is it just the one?
Just the one right now. I mean, we've had trouble with all of them over there, but just the one is the worst.
Does he just come back to town or something, or are they just on a roll?
He's on something that's he hadn't been on before.
I hate it, that's putting your guys in harm's way every time they gotta pull up there.
It took 4 of them.
Yeah, the first day, yeah. I can't figure out how you turn that bush hog over. It was on level ground. I thought, how in the world do you do that? Send Gerald out there to get some boats, maybe calm him down.
Is it one of your personal friends?
No, I don't even know the guy. Thank goodness. Drug Central over there. That's the house years ago I told you about. That was, I think it was a Dodge Viper or something. We come through there with reserve plates, pull in there for 5 to 10 minutes, leave, and I seen that same car in Paducah downtown one day. I thought, they're making their runs what he's doing. Nope, I mean, it's just no two ways about it. Exciting going on over there.
Well, I've got a question I need to ask you guys. Turned my budget in last week, got it done. And I was reading the letter that you sent to Judge Williamson, Judge Jackson. This one. And reading it, the one line here, third paragraph, if the sales tax fails, your plan is to fix the courthouse with money that you got. I mean, it says significant cuts to Massac County's budget. As an office holder, I need to know what significant means. I need to prepare and plan for next year, worst case scenario.
Well, we are in the process of creating two different budgets. And I guess whenever we get the two different budgets prepared, we will have a better idea of what significant means. I don't know, other than that, I don't know how to answer your question with a specific number.
If the sales tax fails to pass, is there a dollar amount that you're looking to have for next year?
Yeah, we started with a dollar amount. Just, what was it, 400?
70%, wasn't it? Less. That sticks in my mind, don't know where I got that
It
at.
was either 14 or 17, I can't remember. Jason, can you?
I think that was, correct. I think, I mean, Jeff, all three of us just, to have the conversation, if it doesn't pass, what our options were. And I think we came with a dollar figure, what was it? A couple $100,000.
Was it 400,000?
I believe. And, to meet that goal, we would have to reduce, budgets.
Everybody's budget by 17%?
Well, I mean, there's certain,
Not everybody's, but
there were certain budgets you can't
the
touch. I mean,
majority of them, or I guess you would say the biggies.
So we're talking about mine.
Well, yours is one of them,
Right.
yes.
Well, I'm saying, as an office holder, I think I need to know what's coming down the road. These people depend on this job. If I'm gonna have to let somebody go, I wanna be prepared on how to run my office. And 17% is over $300,000.
I know, and that's why I'm working hard to try to get this sales tax passed.
So is that realistically what we're looking at?
What other options have we got?
We've had this conversation before, so I won't be civil about this. People didn't elect me to run the county's monetary budget or fix the courthouse. They elected me to provide law enforcement protection to the county. That's what I'm trying to do, and I need to know how much money that I'm gonna have next year in order to do that. And $300,000 less than what I'm getting right now, I'm not sure I can do it. And I've looked at the contract, I've looked at everything I've got, and that's why I asked Ms. Rose from the FOP to come up here. Contract says that we can't lay people off unless we can't afford to pay the bills. Well, right now, we're paying the bills. We just can't afford to fix the courthouse. So if you take money away from them to fix this, I think you're violating the contract. And I understand what you're trying to do. The courthouse needs to be fixed. I understand that. But they elected me to do a job, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to protect my people and do the job that I was hired to do. And I understand you guys are trying to do what you need to do, but, if this is gonna happen, the way I feel is you need to have myself, Juanita, Patrick, the other office holders in here and say, look, guys, this is what may happen down the road. Don't leave us out until the last minute and then say, hey, here's your new budget. I'm sorry.
I don't have a problem with you being in when we meet. Michelle and the public or whoever else, when we meet, as far as I'm concerned, everybody is welcome. So,
If it failed the first time, I'm not sure it's gonna pass the second time, but if it doesn't, and this is the route that you're gonna go, I think we need to be involved in this process.
I'm not
I agree.
opposed to you being in there, yeah.
We're just under a situation where the letter had to be sent to the chief judge because we have to have plans.
I understand.
And I wasn't in that meeting. Jeff and Patrick worked the letter up. We did approve it as the commissioners. I'm hoping I'm hoping that we don't have to cut budgets and I'm hoping that the sales tax is the most fair way and we can get it passed and we can make the repairs that's needed at the courthouse. But I agree that you're welcome to be sitting here and go over the budget with us. It may maybe it doesn't have to be that large of a percentage, but we do have to address the issue of the roof and the tuck point to try to get the courthouse where it's dry.
Was it gonna cost $100,000 again to fix the roof, or more this time?
Oh, I'd say much more. If I was going to guess. would be-
Patrick and I have been talking to Eric Weflin over the last little while, and I talked to Patrick today. We have the bids for the tuck pointing. He's planning on coming here next Tuesday and presenting that, and then we can get those bids out to try to get the tuck pointing maybe done first. That way, once we replace the roof, the tuck pointing doesn't damage the roof again, because there's some areas where you're above the roof fixing, the tuck pointing on the mortar. So, we're trying to address that right now. But hopefully this isn't the decision we go and to do drastic cuts to the budgets. Hopefully we can pass the sales tax and move forward and be fair.
You mentioned that you're working to try to get the sales tax passed. What are you guys doing on behalf of getting the word out to the public as to the consequences if this doesn't pass?
Personally, me, I do media things with the local radio stations, newspaper. We're having a meeting October 4th, which is next Tuesday at 6 p.m. countywide. The local newspapers help us a lot. We have a Facebook page that shows the damages, constantly updating that information. That's what I've been working on. You can ask Jeff and Gerald the same question.
I'm handing out literature, and I have that on my pamphlet that I'm handing out. So far, I've handed out, I think about 500, and I've got 5,000.
I just answer questions on, I mean, I get asked about it on the street. And just answer questions best of my ability, truthfully, and just, inform them of what's going on. The voters own this place. It's ultimately their decision. It's their money. So,
Yeah, we just want to make sure that they're informed as to the consequences if it doesn't pass, because the public just may think, well, it's just to fix the courthouse, which, yes, that's where the money would go. However, if that doesn't pass, the courthouse is gonna have to get fixed regardless, so the money's gonna have to come from somewhere, and if it comes from Sheriff Holder's budget, then that means that there's a possibility of this many layoffs, the jail could possibly have to close. If you have less deputies and less dispatchers, that means you're gonna have to wait for calls, you might not get the service that you get now, so it's a public safety issue, and I just wanna make sure that the community is aware of the consequences.
I agree. So, hopefully I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, hopefully this sales tax can get passed. Hopefully we won't have to go down this road. But we told the chief judge that we would have two options, and that's what he wanted, so that's why we have to do this. So, maybe there's other options of us borrowing the money on taxes, and which we can't borrow that much to pay for everything.
Right.
Pay it back. Hopefully that's the last resort to lay people off.
It's just, the way we're organized is just like a house of cards. I mean, the first thing, if we have to lay off, the first things that gotta go is the courthouse security officers. They'll go first before anybody. They're down in the task force, he'll go. So,
Right.
it's gonna affect everybody. So the meeting is next Tuesday night?
Tuesday night at 6 p.m. We'll have Eric Weflin, which is the engineer that, we've had him here before many times. And then also Kevin Wills will be here. He's the representative for the bond company. have people attend that has questions.
We're gonna have that.
That's a good
Not in the
question.
upstairs courtroom.
We've discussed it, Patrick and I, accommodations would be better at the other building, but we feel like it needs to be here in case people wanna see around, so I thought we'd use a small courtroom, and then hopefully, if that size isn't big enough, we'll just have to make arrangements. But, we could, I guess, unlock the doors for probation and state's attorney's office, turn the lights on, if people wanna get up there and look around. I don't know if the lights work in a large courtroom with what we had done in there or not.
Not all of them will work, we had to shut some of them off.
So, that way people can, see the damage, understand that the repairs need to be made.
At this meeting, are you gonna have, if it passes, you're gonna have this plan, if it doesn't pass, are you gonna have that plan?
I don't think that will be accomplished in that time.
No, the plan won't be, I mean, we might have an idea, but, I mean, it won't be here's a copy of the plan. Plans up.
I
But
don't
the
know.
general idea,
I just think as a community member, myself, if I was to go to that meeting, which I may not be able to go because state softball,
Okay.
but I would wanna know if it doesn't pass, what
the
the
repercussions,
consequences
yeah.
would be if it doesn't.
Well, I mean, to try to answer that, I would say there definitely will be a reduction in budgets to be able to pay for what needs to be done at the courthouse. And
Substantial.
we all understand, unfortunately, the quickest way to cut budgets, the biggest portion is usually labor.
It's just math. I mean,
And that's
it's
not
a
what I want
fact.
to do, and I'm hoping it.
Nobody likes it, I mean, you
Right.
don't get up in the
We're
morning and
hoping
think,
that
man,
that
I hope I
doesn't
can
But
have some
according to
days."
our contract, that's a violation.
Yeah.
Because you can pay the bills, you just can't fix the courthouse.
Right. And our
Well,
bills,
when you fix a courthouse, you're gonna get a bill.
Right.
but, I mean, our bills, we've done very good about trying to keep them paid here recently. I think just last week, we just had the sheriff's department down to 13,000, which might sound like a lot, but that's really pretty good. And, we've done a good job trying to keep all the bills caught up. It's not a good, unfortunately, it's not what we want to happen. Hopefully the board, Jeff and Gerald, myself, all of us will continue to work hard and try to get the sales tax passed. And, it was a very close vote last time, it was less than 200. So, it just depends on, what type of opposition we have and how they counter the material that we put out. Last time, we worked really hard and there was literature that was sent out the day before the election that countered some of it. And, some of our local people that are on our precinct committeements sent stuff out, that was against us on it. I mean, so that hurt us. And hopefully, those people will feel different this time.
Have you reached out to those people that put out the literature against the?
I've talked to some of them individually. I mean, Jeff's one of them that was, one of them on the card, so you can ask him if he's changed his views or if it's still the same.
I'll ask. Have
This,
you-
this Jeff?
Yes.
Okay.
Have I changed my views? Let's put it this way. It didn't happen overnight, and it's not gonna get fixed overnight. And my views have to reflect not only what you all's concerns are, but also what the community's concerns are. And some of those community concerns are in line with yours. Some of those community views are anti-tax because of what it's going to do to their businesses. There are local businesses.
My mom owns a business right here, and she was wavering how to.
Oh, I know, it's not it's an ugly situation, it's not gonna be an easy decision. And when I say businesses, I'm not talking about 2 or 3, I'm talking about when I go eat a cheeseburger and I get asked, hey, do you understand what this is going to mean to my business personally, or a flower shop or something like that. They're already behind the 8 ball, trying to compete with neighboring state. So they have concerns, and I have to weigh that. So,
But in a sense, they need to be told the whole story. You need to tell them, okay, if this fails, you're gonna fix the courthouse, and here's how we're gonna fix the courthouse. So it's gonna affect, even though these people vote against the sales tax, it's gonna affect them another way.
meaning with a loss of service.
Yes.
It'll shut the jail. We'll lose 5 employees if you cut our budget 17%.
The voter, I mean, ultimately, it's up to the voters.
Well, then it's up to you guys to tell them that that's the repercussion.
Fair enough.
But it's the end of September, and the election will be beginning in November, and it sounds like you're just kinda so-so about it. And, as a county board individual, a member of this county board, I can see where you want to let the voters know that, I understand that you guys are against this tax, but on the other hand, like we've said, it's also your responsibility to let them know that, okay, enjoy the services that you have now, because those are gonna get slashed if this doesn't pass the beginning of November.
Will there be a plan in place before the election? I guess that's what I wanna know. Are we gonna wait till after the election and then decide what we're gonna do?
No, the plan is already not on paper, but it's in development, I guess. So will it be complete before the election? That would be a challenge, but I guess it is a possibility.
I can do it whenever they want. I mean, we just have to meet
Yeah.
and get the budget done. I mean, that's it. I mean, I have no issue. I can say I would try everything I can. I mean, I'm just 1/3 of the party, so it's just,
Like I said, I hope it doesn't go that way, but I don't wanna wait and, adopt a budget in March or April of next year that cuts me back to January. So
Mhm.
now I'm even farther in the hole than I would've been if we
Right.
started the 1st of January.
right.
Is that realistic? Can we go from day 1 of January, and this is what we're gonna do?
Yes.
Hope to God. So we have been making progress as far as
Yeah.
our budgets go. Is this for a new vehicle, Leslie?
Yeah.
Are we about caught up with news?
That is the last one.
Okay. Jack
Ted,
Parker's about to kill us.
Gerald?
I think what people don't know, they haven't thought about, it's gonna cost, I bet $1 million to $2 million to fix that building before we can use it
Down there.
successfully, yeah. We're gonna have to build, I understand digging a partial basement, and then a top on that where the drive-through is to get the whole courthouse in there to begin with. And then the courtroom is never gonna be substantial, according to Mr. Williamson. And it needs to be, it's going to be rebuilt, it's just not made for a courthouse.
Right.
So.
It's not
I mean, you're
compliant.
looking
We're
at-
not in compliance right now.
I'm thinking that half the money we're gonna spend on this one, we're gonna spend on that one. And then there's no parking. I just think it's a good idea to stay here, myself.
Money on the tuck pointing, tuck pointing will stop the water, we know that for a fact,
It will stop the water through the bricks.
is that where the water's coming from now? I'm not doubting anybody's word, but before we spend $300,000 or $400,000, we for sure this time, this is what's gonna fix it.
Now, you asking about tuck pointing? All I can do is go by on the advice of the people that look at this stuff and that are professionals on it. They suggested that we get the tuck pointing done first before we redo the roof, because to do the tuck pointing, you're gonna be on the roof side, because there's a second section of the building. So we're gonna do the tuck pointing first, and then after that, replace the roof. Now, your question might be, well, if the tuck pointing fixes it, are we gonna replace the roof? Is that your question?
I guess,
We're,
when we spend the money for the tuck one, we know that's part of the problem. We know
We
for
know
sure.
that's
Yes.
part of the problem.
Yes, we do. I mean, we've had 2 or 3 different people tell us that we need to get some tuck pointing done. So the bid would be tuck pointing from the, whatever you would say about,
Pulpit wall.
yeah, up, not the whole building, but up from there, and to get this hopefully done sooner than later. We like to have it done before winter. And then we have a situation with the roof where it's a legal situation, so I'm not gonna really go into that.
We're concerned about damage under the roof line. So that, I mean, the roof is, I think, gonna have to come off to
But
check that damage.
that tuck pointing was part of the original valuation of the building on what it would cost to remodel the building. So that's part of it. It's not a
new expense.
It's not a new expense that we're incurring or nothing like that. It was part of the evaluation of, you know, we're just gonna put new windows in, we're just gonna tuck point in the courthouse, new plumbing, stuff like that needs to be done. So all that is already figured in with the original thing that RQAW study that they had done for the building. Now, putting a new roof on it was not figured in the second time, but that's just part of it that we'll just have to take care of. I guess all I can say is I support the sales tax. I'm gonna work hard for it. Hopefully it passes and we don't have to go down this other road. You know, and I'll try to do our part to have those 2 options available before the election.
So any meetings you have in the future, I don't know about the other office holders, but I'd like to be part of them.
Okay,
I've got more to lose than anybody, and
that's
I
true.
don't want to lose any people I got. I need all of them. Just kind of keep us in the loop and let us know where we're going.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's your hotel pool?
Yep.
As always, huh?
Thank you.
See you later. What's up?
On to the hard stuff, huh?
Fun, huh? Yeah.
Sorry about these claim forms, they just don't have the lines that we normally have, so
Oh, my gosh.
I'll have to fire Leah because of that, I guess.
Maybe just give her one more
I'll
chance.
just give her a verbal warning, how's that?
Tread lightly.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of the time, we got don't we have a claim form on the front of these sometimes?
That is the claim form.
That is
It
the claim
just
form.
doesn't print out that part at the bottom that we normally sign, that's why I
Right
just
here,
signed
okay.
that in space,
I
yeah.
got you.
Yeah. While you guys were looking over that and doing that, the thing that I had on the agenda was to approve a federal aid agreement and pass a resolution for funding on our next major project. The project that we're intending to put out to bid this November and probably construct next summer is to repave Country Club Road from 45 to 145. And we intend to use our federal surface transportation allotment for 80% of that. And that's what this federal aid agreement, we always have to do a federal aid agreement when we use federal money, and that's what this federal aid agreement is going to, you know, if you guys have to pass this to, and sign it to approve that, to use that federal money. The 20% match that we have to come up with, normally we use a local fund to do that. We have another specific allotment, it's called state matching funds, that we are going to use first on this. going to use up to $178,000 per our estimate. That was 20% of the project, so that's what the state match is going to use. So in a perfect case scenario, if there's no premiums on this project, if we don't run into anything where there's any extras, we won't be out any local money on this project at all. It's just gonna be using the state matching fund and the federal fund, and that's gonna pay for it. However, I do have a resolution, and IDOT says we have to pass this, that in case there are additions to the contract, if we run into something out there where we have to do extra work and pay for it, we have to have a resolution to agree to pay the rest of it. And I've prepared a resolution to use our federal aid matching local fund to pay the remainder of that if necessary. The last several projects we've done have actually come in under the estimate, so we really historically haven't had any worries on this, but we still
Gotta get her done.
Yeah, like this. I guess I need a motion to approve the federal aid agreement and also a motion to approve the resolution for funding.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that. Is this for federal aid?
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
You need a separate motion for the other one?
Yeah, pass the resolution to, appropriate the money for it. The state matching funds not to exceed $178 to be, $178,000 are to be used first for our local match, and then up to $50,000 extra if, I can't imagine there would ever be any more extra than that, so.
I'll make that motion.
Cheryl, would you like to second
I'll
that?
second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Sign.
Yeah, and basically this is basically you and Juanita.
Couple copies, all right.
There's 4 of those and 5 of these. Now, the project total, as you would imagine, is very expensive to pave roads. It's like a 5.2 mile stretch. This total project is around $900,000, so, we're getting, it just kinda gives an idea of how expensive it is to maintain roads and keep roads up.
Joe, will there have to be work done to that railroad bridge, or can it just go right over and keep going?
Well, that one won't be included in this one, in this
No,
project.
we're basically not going to pave over that. No, we cannot put any more onto it. We have in the project to actually mill some of that surface off.
I saw you done some work up there. haven't you?
We did some work the other day, yeah, and had our grader up there because we had, just trying to make it smoother.
It is a lot smoother.
Yeah. Did you have those forked blade on there?
No, we just used a sharp dirt blade to cut it off.
And you did down by highway too, didn't you? You did a whole lot better than it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Just requires your signature on that one. There's 5 copies of those.
Any date these as well?
Sure.
27?
27.
step sign up.
That Sam Scott, he called back. I think he's the only one gonna pay on that road up there, going toward Temple Hill, the corner.
I didn't go up there to figure out a cost on that. I mean, it's where the, how, is it basically from where the payment leaves off to in front of his house, or
Yeah.
you know how long it is? I mean, I can look, I can go up there and measure it, but
I think he told me quarter mile,
quarter mile.
I think.
$10,000 on dirt.
He's hoping. I think Joel, 300 feet past his house. So, do you know where he lives up there?
I don't, but I can look up on the
Yeah.
tax maps and stuff and see where he lives. Go about 300 feet past his driveway or something,
Yeah.
or?
I think, you know, that steep hill right there, not far from when you leave the highway there in front of Gene Gurley. Well, I think,
Is it paved up the hill already?
yeah, I think it quits right at the
At the
top
top of the
somewhere. And just, I think his brother lived on the right, and then he's next one, I believe.
Okay.
Oh, and I'll tell you something, Rotman worked for the county. What was it, you remember his?
That was before my time, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know his first name.
I know him well, I can't think, but anyway, his house is done. So I'm hoping he can just tie into that patch,
Okay,
which is the next house,
yeah, okay.
but it's on down the road a space.
I'll figure it out.
That'd be the best if he could do that. It's Alvin, I believe, isn't it? Alvin Rotman, yeah.
Yep, I will get a exact distance, and, I mean, since we can't can't really narrow it down to an exact cost, but I can
Sure.
get pretty good ballpark, because based on our bids this year, you know, because
Right.
it won't be till next year we can do this, but.
And also, out there at Honeycrisp Lake, you know where that is?
Orchard Road? Orchard Road.
Yes.
Mhm.
That Bachelor Road ties in there to Orchard. And this guy, Virgil Hargan, that lives there, at Honeycrisp Lake, if you turn left off Bachelor, I think that's on chip. But if you turn right, according to him, it turns into gravel. I can't remember. Do you remember? You know that T there, Bachelor and Orchard?
Yeah, I didn't think any of Bachelor was oil and chip.
No, not Bachelor. When you turn left, it's oil and chip on Orchard. And if you turn right and go toward Honeycrisp,
Yeah, I think that's right. I think it is gravel going up to the right.
okay, he's wanting to know about what that would cost.
Okay. I mean, those gravel, there's some gravel pieces in front of the actual orchard too. I mean, how far does he wanna go? Just 100-foot lake, or
Yeah. Way tall.
wherever the road is there?
Yeah,
Think
maybe,
about that.
maybe, 100 feet past or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Cause I think, Honeycrisp, that's private, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's not county road.
No, it's not kind of rough. Private. I will tell them. I guess these people understand that, you know, there's no promises of future, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
um,
we'll do our best, but.
yeah, I don't think I did tell Sam that, but he needs to know it. I'll call him and tell him that you'll be up there sometime for spring. I was telling him that's the way it is.
Okey-doke. I'll get them costs.
Okay.
Nothing else?
We're good.
Something I know of.
Call me.
Okay, thanks, Joe.
contract for, you just have the one.
Yeah.
Make copies.
I
I
just
need them to read it and
Like
have
yesterday
Patrick
when I got
read
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started to print them out and I thought, well, I better ask if you can. We'll make 3 copies for you guys to read, and one for Patrick to go over to. We spoke to the man from Tyler Technologies, John Randolph. He said they would, I guess as soon as we could get it started, they would go ahead and come and start doing their transition. Said it'd probably take about 5 months, and they would work and make sure it was going good and everything, and then one day they would turn CIC off and turn Tyler Technologies on, and then we'd be live with that. And so that'll be about the time CIC's contract is running out, so they would run simultaneously for a little bit.
I don't remember, what is CIC's payment, monthly, or is it a year annually that we do?
We quarterly for them. Well, we pay by the year for, it's what, 12,000 some odd dollars. We just sent that in.
Right.
So it's a little over, and that's not counting their hardware. That is, what, $15,000 a year for theirs, where their payment is $1,400 a month, and that's for everything.
So we're gonna end up saving money.
And is this the same one that the
The
city
city
uses?
has.
And you all feel
Yeah.
really comfortable with this one?
Really.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Sure.
know. We were and we had talked, but we just figured, when we called them about real estate, what was it, $250,000 for their real estate program, so we thought, we can't afford, we're
Right.
paying, what, 30, or whatever Gary's paying now for Fike and Fike, but, yeah, we just thought they were too expensive, we weren't even gonna go there, and we were in a time crunch, trying to, so, anyway, very confident.
Tricia Suttles, is that who uses this program?
And she'd be more than happy to come over and talk to you about it, she said. If you guys
She
had-
value her job.
That it is a Windows-based, and there isn't 23, there's like 3,
Stuff
More-
to get something.
more like QuickBooks was.
All right. You all can give us a copy today then?
Yeah, I'll make
All right.
copies of that one as soon as I leave here.
All right.
We've got our other computers pretty well. We've got a few printers that we can't print to yet, but our computers, we can't print to the printer yet, but Dave's working on them, so, we got everything,
What do you think it'll end up costing us, that ransom thing?
what, about $900 maybe?
Yeah, about
Okay.
less than 1,000.
I think, what did he say, the ransom was 800?
Oh, was it?
No, it's
Yeah.
12
Oh, was it?
for those
Okay.
Bitcoins. Yeah, cause they're Bitcoins for $606 a piece, and they wanted 2 if we did it the day it happened, and 3 if it happened, if we went the next day, and said, go ahead and fix it. Yeah, but, John and Dave were able to, John Long and Dave were able to do it for less than 1,000.
So you pay this, whoever's planting this on you, these
Yeah.
Bitcoins,
And they'll give you, may or may not give you your
Yeah,
information
back, right.
So,
Yeah, so we didn't pay the ransom, we fixed it.
What county's Josh work, or, the road that you mentioned, what county's he work?
Pulaski.
Same thing happened to them, they paid the ransom and then got it up, and about a week or two later it happened again.
really,
Yeah. So this,
so I think we made the right decision.
that's what I was told.
Well, because if they fix it, they know what to mess up.
Mhm.
Dana,
Yes.
the woman in town asked me if she could pay on her taxes early, like in the spring.
And we may be able to do that, Gerald, with the new Fike and Fike. See, that's set up where you can take partial payments. I think it's set up, it will calculate, if somebody comes in and if your taxes are $1,200 and they give you $200, you can go ahead and go in there and post that, and then when we print the bills, it will only bill her for what the
what the
balance of what she owes is. That's what from
Well,
conversations we've had.
she said when she gets her income tax,
Mhm.
she'd like to, of course, she don't know what the taxes are, but she'd like to make a payment. She
I
knows
think we'll
from
be
last-
able to do that with Fight and Fight.
Okay,
I think
good.
you can do it with, well, I think you can take a partial payment with, Thomson Reuters, but it's more difficult, and it doesn't subtract it off the billing, and it's just,
You know,
Would you like my opinion?
yes.
I think if you start that, you're creating yourself more work, and I think it's up to people to budget their own damn money. That's just my opinion.
I do have,
You do what you wanna do.
we do have, but if the program is actually set up where people can do that, see, right now, it's just almost impossible to keep up with it. But if the system is set up to do that, then you're okay. I'm like you, I would rather not do it, but, if it's out there and it helps people,
well, that's what I thought, and, some people that, you just live, paycheck to paycheck. I'm not sure this woman gets a paycheck, but, and I got,
you do have to have some responsibility, and like Jeff, but, if the program's set up to do it and it's not any problem, and we'll get into that when we get to our part of If I Can Fight downstairs.
okay.
And I'll let you know what we decide.
That's good.
Okay.
See you later.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
See that they're over. How's your mini me? I ain't seen her in a while.
She is just going to school. Hopefully next semester will be her last. She'll have her degree.
Exciting.
What's she taking?
She's English, majoring in English. And she's working on her and her professor are working on a grant to go to England and do some research on insane asylums.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, because he's writing a book, so it'll be interesting. I hope they get it.
Remind me, since I'm often going to tell you about my experience over in Scotland. It wasn't in the insane asylum, but it was out there. It was like an episode of Twilight Zone.
In Scotland? I've been to Scotland. Oh, I bet it's beautiful over there.
It is,
How long's a plane ride? Is it?
oh gosh, about 10 hours, eight and a half. Because we had a layover in Manchester for 5 hours.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right, see you.
See you
Thank you,
later.
Lord.
We'll see you.
What did he got that information from the minutes somewhere, or?
I think he did, yeah, I guess he did. Looks like he did a full good request, and that's what they said the salary was.
I don't know what he was promised and by whom, but there is a certain amount of the budget, and Mary Lou gets 52% of that, and then he gets 48. And that's how it's always been done. I don't know who told him he would get 36,000 per year. There was not a raise given to the budget of the public defender, to my knowledge.
Well, I'm wondering if, surely, I mean, if he's already got these forms, maybe he needs to produce the forms, or somebody needs to produce these same forms, so we can have some
Because
information.
it has to go off of that budget. And I was never told that he was gonna get X amount of dollars more.
Well, it said in here, before a request was served Massac County Clerk's Office on the 23rd of this September. The response that he requested indicated my salary was $36,170.76. So I don't know if you can get a copy of whatever was sent to him. I don't know. You know what
That
I mean?
was just Friday, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure, yeah, I know, we looked it up. And like you said, he was off.
But what did you send him? A copy of the minutes that said that, or?
No, there is no copy of the minutes that says
So what was
That
the
it would be-
information he received that said that?
just copies of his paychecks.
Well, his paychecks, he's saying was not that amount.
No, because like I said, we had to go off that budget and they hadn't gotten a raise
In a long time.
I
since
guess-
right after I came, and I came in 2004.
Would you want to see Jeff and Gerald a copy of what they sent him?
Yeah, I do, and I want.
Maybe that's what gives, you might give us more insight on what he's talking about. I don't know for sure.
Well, I said, that's what, they have always been paid in the past, and I don't know who told him that his salary was gonna be that. It wasn't me.
Well, we need some paper documentation
Yeah.
where I, so-and-so authorized that the payment to court
Exactly,
is
that's-
this amount.
Right, and that's something that we never got either, because Mary Lou is the one that controls that.
Was.
I guess, just give us a copy of what he's saying right here. That he requested it and this is what he received.
Okay.
I don't know. And that way, we'll see what he received, if you can do that.
Everybody gets a newspaper, anyway.